There comes a point when you realize that the real battle was never against your circumstances, your past, or the people around you. The real fight has always been inside your mind, against distraction, inconsistency, and the quiet habits that sabotage your potential. This audiobook is your turning point. From this moment forward, you will learn the skill that separates achievers from drifters: mental discipline. The ability to stay focused, stay consistent, and stay unshaken no matter what stands in your way.
Your mind is powerful, but without discipline, it becomes your greatest obstacle. Most people don't lose because they're incapable. They lose because their mind is scattered, unfocused, and pulled in every direction by impulses they never chose. They wake up with good intentions, but their attention is hijacked within minutes. They start 10 things, they finish none, and by the end of the day, they wonder why nothing ever changes. You've lived this before. You know the cycle. You sit down to work, then suddenly you're checking your phone. You open one tab, then 20. You start a task, then jump to another, then another. You feel busy, but you accomplish nothing. This isn't the lack of intelligence. This isn't a lack of talent. This is a lack of mental discipline. This is what happens when you let your mind wander wherever it wants. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it will become weak. If you don't direct it, it will drift. If you don't command it, it will be commanded by everything around you: notifications, emotions, impulses, noise. And once you lose command of your attention, you lose command of your life. That is the truth most people avoid, but you won't avoid it. You're here to confront it. Listen carefully. You have a choice. You can continue living in mental chaos, or you can take control. You can continue drifting through your days, or you can decide exactly where your mind goes, exactly what it focuses on, exactly what it creates. This is the key. The mind you control becomes your greatest weapon. The mind you ignore becomes your greatest limitation. You must understand something fundamental. Your attention is the steering wheel of your life. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. And wherever your energy goes, your life goes. If your attention is scattered, your life is scattered. If your attention is disciplined, your life becomes disciplined. This is not philosophy. This is not theory. This is behavioral reality. Look at the people who never progress. They always start. They rarely finish. They live in a cycle of half-built habits and half-finished goals. Not because they don't want success, but because their mind has never been taught to stay on one path long enough to produce results. Wanting success is not enough. Hoping for success is not enough. You must discipline your mind to stay locked in long enough to create success. And the first step is simple. Stop letting your mind wander wherever it wants. Your mind will resist this. It will fight back. It will try to distract you, deceive you, and pull you back into old patterns. But that resistance is not weakness. That resistance is the sign that change is happening. Your mind has been left unattended for years. Now you're taking control. Of course it will fight. That's normal. That's expected. And you are stronger than that resistance. You don't need motivation for this. You don't need inspiration. You don't need permission from anyone. What you need is discipline. The discipline to pull your attention back every time it tries to run away. The discipline to stay with your task when your mind tells you to escape. The discipline to say no. We finish what we start. Over and over again. This is how mental power is built. Stop believing the lie that your mind should always feel comfortable. Stop believing the lie that focus should always feel easy. It won't. Not at first. Discipline never feels comfortable in the beginning. But you're not here to stay comfortable. You're here to grow. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth is inconvenient. Growth is deliberate. For the next week, I want you to practice one simple skill. Get back to the task. That's it. When your mind drifts, come back. When you feel the urge to switch tasks, stay. When you feel overwhelmed, breathe and return. One return, then another, then another. Every time you bring your attention back, you are training your mind to obey you. You are building the foundations of a disciplined life. Remember this line. Say it throughout your day. Direct your mind, command your mind, discipline your mind. Because if you don't, someone else will. Your attention is currency. Companies want it, people want it, your impulses want it. If you don't protect it, you will lose it. And when you lose your attention, you lose your potential. But not you, not anymore. You are taking control. You are strengthening the mental muscle that determines everything you will become. This chapter has given you the first foundation. Stop letting your mind wander wherever it wants. Now you understand the chaos. Now you understand the cause. And now you understand the solution. You've taken the first step toward mental discipline. Now it's time for the next truth, one most people never realize. Next chapter, focus is a skill, not a gift.
Most people make a dangerous mistake. They treat focus as something you either have or don't have, as if it's some natural talent handed out at birth, as if only special people can concentrate deeply, work consistently, and stay locked in long enough to produce real results. But that is a lie. One of the biggest lies you've been taught. Focus is not a gift. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained, strengthened, and mastered through deliberate practice. You must understand this clearly. People are not born focused. They become focused. They build the muscle. They train the ability. They earn the discipline. The brain adapts to what you repeatedly do. If you train distraction, you become distracted. If you train attention, you become powerful. This is the key. You are not limited. You are untrained. And untrained does not mean incapable. It simply means the training begins now. Think about someone who seems incredibly focused. The student who studies for hours, the athlete who practices with total intensity, the entrepreneur who works deeply without breaking the rhythm. People look at them and think, wow, they were born like that. But no, that is not how it works. They built it in small pieces. They trained their mind to stay with tasks longer and longer, until deep focus became natural, consistent, automatic. Focus grows like a muscle. You don't start with 8 hours of concentration. You start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, short bursts of deliberate attention. Then you expand. The person who trains themselves to concentrate in small doses becomes unstoppable when they face bigger tasks. They don't crumble under pressure because their mind knows how to stay in place. They don't scatter their energy because they've built a habit of directing it. They didn't wait for the gift of focus, they created the skill. And here's the truth you must face. Your focus has been drained by years of training in the opposite direction. Endless scrolling, notifications, multitasking, dopamine hits, constant interruptions. All of this has trained your brain to crave stimulation instead of discipline, to seek novelty instead of depth, to flee effort instead of embracing it. But you have a choice. You can continue feeding the habits that weaken you, or you can start rewiring the habits that strengthen you. You don't need inspiration for this. You don't need motivation. You don't need their permission. What you need is discipline. The discipline to choose focus when distraction is easier. The discipline to sit through the discomfort of a wandering mind and bring it back again, and again. Every time you bring your attention back to the task, you are training your focus. Every pullback is progress. Every return is a repetition. This is how mental strength is built. If you want to change your life, you must change how you train your brain. Stop expecting long attention spans to appear from nowhere. Stop comparing yourself to people who have practiced focus for years. Stop judging yourself for struggling and start committing to small wins, small focus sessions, small victories. 5 minutes of pure attention, then 10 minutes, then 20. You build depth by showing up for it. You build focus by choosing it. Understand this clearly. You train focus by choosing focus, over and over again, deliberately, intentionally, relentlessly. And yes, this will feel uncomfortable at first. Your mind has been conditioned to run from effort. It wants easy, it wants instant, it wants stimulation without work. But you are not here to feed weakness. You're here to build discipline. You're here to construct a mind that serves your goals instead of sabotaging them. You are here to reclaim the skill that modern life has been trying to steal from you. Focus is freedom. Focus is clarity. Focus is power. Without it, your life becomes scattered, reactive, and unfocused. With it, you become consistent, intentional, and unstoppable. This is your turning point. This is your wake-up call. This is where you stop waiting for focus to magically appear and start training it deliberately. Starting today, your new practice is simple. Choose one task every day and give it pure, uninterrupted attention for a set amount of time. No switching, no drifting, no multitasking. Stay with it. Fight through the urge to escape. Hold your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. That small act, repeated daily, will reshape your mind. It will build your focus. It will build your discipline. And it will build the future you have been avoiding through distraction. You now understand that focus is not a gift reserved for a few. It is a skill available to anyone willing to train. You've taken another step toward mastering mental discipline. And now that you understand focus, it's time to confront the silent enemy that destroys it. Next chapter, you lose more from distraction than from failure. Failure is not your enemy. Failure has never been your enemy. Failure teaches you. It shapes you. It sharpens you. The truth is simple. Failure pushes you forward, but distraction pulls you backward. Distraction drains you. Distraction steals your hours, your energy, your attention, and your potential. You lose far more from distraction than you will ever lose from failure. Most people fear failure. They avoid it, hide from it, and run around it, but they never stop to look at the real threat, the quiet, constant, invisible force that eats their life away one small interruption at a time. Distraction doesn't feel dangerous. It feels harmless. It feels light. A quick check, a small scroll, a tiny pause. But those tiny moments accumulate. They stack. They build into hours, weeks, months, and years of wasted potential. Understand this clearly. Modern distraction is engineered to control you, designed to keep you reactive, constructed to pull you away from yourself. Every notification, every swipe, every pop-up, every piece of digital noise, none of it is accidental. It's deliberate. It's calculated. It's built to hook your mind and drain your discipline. This is the battlefield you live in, and you cannot afford to pretend it doesn't affect you. Think about it honestly. How many times have you sat down with good intentions only to lose 30 minutes to your phone? How many times have you opened a tab for one purpose and drifted into 10 other windows? How many times have you tried to focus, but the smallest noise pulled you off track? This is not weakness. This is design. This is how a distracted world shapes an undisciplined mind. But you have a choice. You can continue feeding the distractions that weaken you, or you can eliminate the distractions that steal your future. You can continue letting your attention be hijacked, or you can take full control of where your mind goes. This is the key. A disciplined life begins with disciplined attention, and you cannot build discipline in a mind that is constantly being pulled in every direction. Your greatest losses have not come from your failures, they have come from your lack of focus, your scattered attention, your inability to stay with the work long enough to change your life. Every unfinished project, every abandoned habit, every delayed dream, they all trace back to moments when distraction beat discipline. Let's be honest, it's not about talent, it's not about intelligence, it's not about luck. It's about discipline. Discipline over your attention, discipline over your impulses, discipline over the urge to escape into comfort. Your success is not being blocked by failure, it's being blocked by the tiny, constant distractions that keep you stuck in a loop of unproductive motion. Distraction keeps you in a state of reactivity. You react to notifications, you react to impulses, you react to noise, you react to other people's priorities. When you live in reactivity, you lose your ability to choose your direction. You lose your ability to build your life intentionally. You lose your ability to make progress. Distraction doesn't just steal time, it steals agency. To take your life back, you must take your attention back. This is not optional. This is not negotiable. This is the foundation of everything you want to build. Start by identifying your biggest distractions, your phone, your environment, your habits, your emotional triggers, and then cut them, reduce them, remove them, replace them. Do whatever it takes to protect your attention. You don't need their permission. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need approval from anyone. You're not doing this to impress people. You're doing this to elevate yourself. You're doing this to create the future you keep postponing every time you get pulled off track. If you want to transform your life, you must become ruthless with your attention, ruthless with your boundaries, ruthless with your time, because the world will not protect your focus for you. The world profits from your distraction, but you profit from your discipline. Remember this line and repeat it throughout your day. Eliminate distraction before it eliminates your discipline. Say it until it becomes instinct. Say it until your mind listens. Say it until your habits change. Failure will help you grow. Distraction will keep you small. Failure will make you stronger. Distraction will make you weaker. Failure will move you forward. Distraction will keep you stuck exactly where you've been for years. You've now identified the real threat, the silent thief of your potential. And once you know the enemy, you can defeat it. You can rebuild your discipline from the inside out. You can regain the hours you've lost, the opportunities you've missed, and the life you've been delaying. Now that you understand the true cost of distraction, it's time to confront the next requirement of mental discipline. Next chapter, consistency is the hardest form of discipline.
Consistency is the quiet force that separates those who wish from those who win. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it doesn't attract applause. Consistency is the daily decision to show up even when every part of you wants to stop. And that is why most people never build anything meaningful. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the right moment, without realizing the right moment is the one they choose. Listen carefully. Consistency is the hardest form of discipline. And because it is the hardest, it is also the most powerful. You have a choice every single day. You can choose the story where you move 1 inch forward, or you can choose the story where you stay exactly where you are. This is the key. Small steps repeated beat big steps abandoned. Motivation fades. Excitement fades. The high of starting something new fades. But consistency demands something deeper.
It demands commitment when you're tired. It demands effort when your mind is fighting you. It demands action when you feel nothing. And that is when discipline is born. You don't need their permission. You don't need someone cheering for you. You don't need someone validating your progress. Consistency is between you and your standards, not you and their opinions. Think about the people you know, friends, coworkers, family, who start projects with fire in their eyes and stop the moment things get quiet. They train themselves to be inconsistent. They train themselves to quit. They reinforce the identity of someone who only acts when conditions are perfect. But you are not here to reinforce weakness. You are here to replace weakness with discipline. Because it's not about feeling ready. It's about building the identity of someone who acts regardless of feeling. Let me give you the real-world truth. People who only work when they feel inspired never build anything that lasts. The ones who win are the ones who show up in the boring days, the slow days, the uninspired days. The ones who win are the ones who repeat the fundamentals until the fundamentals become who they are. You don't become consistent by accident. You become consistent by design. Consistency is a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows through resistance. When your mind says stop, you take one more step. When your body says tomorrow, you say today. When your emotions say, I don't feel like it, you say, I choose discipline. This is how identity is built. Consistency builds identity. Repeat that, because identity is not created by dreams. Identity is created by repetition. You become what you repeatedly do. You become reliable by acting reliably. You become disciplined by acting with discipline. You become unstoppable by refusing to stop. And yes, there will be days you don't want to do it. Days where progress feels invisible. Days where effort feels pointless. But those are the defining days. Those are the days when consistency separates you from who you used to be. When you show up on the hard days, you teach your mind a new rule. I don't negotiate with weakness. I don't break my promises to myself. I don't build my future based on my mood. This is identity-level discipline. This is the work that nobody sees, but everybody notices. Consistency is built in not grand gestures. It's built in tiny commitments honored over and over again. Wake up at the same time. Train your body even when you're tired. Sit down and work even when you feel uninspired. Small actions, repeated without permission from your emotions. That's how you become someone others admire, someone others trust, someone others cannot predict but must respect. Every day you choose consistency, you strengthen your future and weaken your excuses. Every day you choose consistency, you show your past self that they were wrong about you. Every day you choose consistency, you create momentum that most people never experience. This is the hardest discipline because it asks more from you than intensity ever will. Intensity is easy. Anyone can go hard for a day. Consistency is commitment. Only a disciplined mind can sustain it. You have a choice today. You will have a choice tomorrow, and the day after that. Each choice reinforces who you are becoming. And you are becoming someone who shows up, stays committed, and refuses to break their own momentum. You have learned the truth. Consistency is the foundation of transformation. Consistency is the identity you are building. Consistency is the force that rewrites your life. Now that you understand the power of showing up, it's time to explore the next truth. What happens when you show up, but you learn to do it silently, without noise, without announcing every move? Next chapter, stop negotiating with yourself.
There is a moment every day when you face a quiet but powerful enemy. It's not fear. It's not failure. It's the voice inside your own mind that says, maybe later, maybe tomorrow, maybe you don't have to do it today. That voice is the doorway to weakness. That voice is the beginning of compromise. And compromise is the slow death of discipline. Listen carefully. You must stop negotiating with yourself, because every negotiation with your excuses weakens your standards. Every negotiation reinforces your limitations. Every negotiation trains your mind to question your own commands. You have a choice. You can be someone who debates with their excuses or someone who destroys them. This is the key. Discipline begins where negotiation ends. Most people wake up and immediately enter a negotiation. Should I get up or sleep 5 more minutes? Should I work or scroll for a while? Should I train or skip today? They don't realize that these small negotiations shape their entire identity. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. It's not about what you feel like doing. It's about what needs to be done. You don't need their permission, and you don't need your own emotional permission either. Your mind becomes stronger when your commands become non-negotiable. Wake up, work, follow through. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided, and your decisions matter. You must become the kind of person who doesn't stand in front of the mirror bargaining with weakness. The kind of person who doesn't argue with excuses. The kind of person who doesn't break commitments because the mood isn't right. Your future doesn't care about your mood. Your results don't care about your excuses. Your potential doesn't care about the stories you tell yourself to avoid effort. You have trained your mind for years to respond to emotion. You've trained it to avoid discomfort. You've trained it to chase ease. But training goes both ways. You can retrain it. You can build a mind that responds to commands, not negotiations. This is where transformation begins. When your actions stop depending on your feelings. When your decisions stop dissolving when discomfort appears. When you no longer ask yourself whether you feel like it. Because the answer to that question doesn't matter. Real discipline is simple. You say what you will do, and you do it. You declare the standard, and you follow it. You make the rule, and you obey it. No negotiation, only execution. This is the line that rebuilds your identity. This is the line that transforms your mind from reactive to powerful. This is the line that turns your life from inconsistent to unstoppable. Think about the moments when you've lost momentum. They didn't start with failure. They started with negotiation. One skipped workout. One late start. One I'll do it later. That's all it takes for discipline to weaken. But the same is true in reverse. Strength begins with one act of execution. One moment where you override your feelings. One morning where you get up without hesitation. One task completed without debate. That's how you build the structure of discipline inside your mind. You must create internal rules that are not open for discussion. Rules that are simple. Rules that are firm. Rules that are clear. Wake up at this time. Train at this time. Work for this amount of time. Non-negotiable. Unquestioned. Respected. When you eliminate negotiation, you eliminate hesitation. When you eliminate hesitation, you eliminate doubt. When you eliminate doubt, you eliminate weakness. Everything becomes cleaner. Everything becomes sharper. Everything becomes aligned. You stop wasting mental energy
on decisions you've already made. You stop draining your willpower on emotional debates. You stop letting your mind pull you in 10 directions. You live by command. You move with purpose. You strengthen your identity through every decision you execute without question. This is what powerful people do. This is how disciplined people think. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't entertain weakness. They don't lose momentum by chasing comfort. Every great transformation begins with the same shift. I no longer negotiate with my excuses. From this point forward, let that be your standard. Let that be your anchor. Let that be the rule you refuse to break. Because when negotiation ends, clarity begins. When clarity begins, discipline rises. And when discipline rises, you become someone unstoppable. Now that you understand how to remove internal negotiation, it's time to learn how to remove external dependency. To stop needing applause, approval, or validation to move forward. Next chapter. Your environment is either training you or weakening you.
Your environment is not neutral. It either works for you or it works against you. Every object, every sound, every person around you is shaping your mind. Every habit, every influence, every distraction is creating the person you become. Most people ignore this truth. They blame themselves for weakness, but the environment is the silent teacher. It either trains you to be disciplined or trains you to be weak. And make no mistake, if your environment is chaotic, your mind becomes chaotic. If your environment is unstructured, your discipline suffers. If your environment is full of distractions, your attention disappears. Your life begins to mirror the order or disorder around you. You have a choice. You can continue letting your surroundings dictate your habits, your energy, your focus, or you can take control. This is the key. Your environment must serve your goals, not distract from them. Your surroundings are either allies or enemies. Decide which side they are on. Look at your daily spaces, your home, your office, your digital world. Are they supporting your growth or eroding your potential? Are they training your mind to focus, to be strong, to follow through? Or are they tempting you to procrastinate, to wander, to waste your energy? Most people live in environments that reinforce distraction. Phones buzzing, apps screaming, notifications flashing, messy rooms, untended spaces, chaotic routines. Even the people around you contribute. If they are reactive, undisciplined, or negative, they weaken your mental muscles. Your environment is shaping you, even when you don't realize it. This is where most people fail. They try to build discipline through willpower alone. They think motivation is enough. They think effort in a vacuum will create transformation. But effort without structure is wasted energy. Discipline is built when your environment reinforces your standards, not undermines them. This is why athletes have gyms. This is why professionals have systems. This is why winners shape everything around them to support their focus. You don't need their permission. You don't need anyone to approve the changes you make. If your current environment weakens you, it is your responsibility to rebuild it. Start with one small change. Clear a desk. Turn off notifications. Remove items that tempt you to waste time. Replace them with tools that reinforce focus, growth, and consistency. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. It's not about aesthetics. It's about creating a space where your mind can operate at its peak. Your surroundings must challenge laziness, reward focus, and remind you of your standards. This is how you remove friction between who you are and who you are becoming. Your environment should also support your routines. Set spaces for work, for growth, for creativity. Set rules for when and how you engage with people, media, and distractions. When your environment is structured, your habits follow naturally. When your environment is chaotic, your habits break naturally. The choice is yours. Shape your environment or be shaped by it. Even small adjustments compound over time. Clear your workspace, clean your digital files, organize your time. One action repeated daily trains your mind to respect standards. One structure maintained consistently teaches your brain to anticipate discipline. One environment aligned with your goals makes every task easier to execute. Every distraction removed is a victory. Every simplification is a reinforcement of your mental strength. Remember, your environment is a mirror of your mind. If your space is cluttered, your thoughts will be cluttered. If your routines are messy, your results will be messy. If your people, objects, and digital tools are chaotic, your life will follow suit. This is not theory. It is cause and effect. You are either reinforcing strength or you are reinforcing weakness. There is no middle ground. Shape your environment or be shaped by it. Say it again. Say it until it becomes instinct. Say it until every decision about your space reinforces your discipline. Because the stronger your environment, the stronger your mind. And the stronger your mind, the stronger your life. Now that you understand the silent influence of your surroundings, it's time to confront the next essential step. How to start with small, deliberate standards that build unstoppable mental power even before you feel ready. Next chapter. Discipline begins with one small daily standard.
Most people fail because they try to do too much at once. They want to overhaul their lives in a single day. They chase grand transformations and dramatic shifts, and when they fail, they give up entirely. But transformation does not work that way. Discipline does not happen in a moment of inspiration. Discipline is built one standard at a time. One non-negotiable standard every single day. This is the key. Start small, start consistent, start unbreakable. You have a choice. You can continue chasing massive, unrealistic change, or you can begin with one small act that trains your mind, your will, and your character. One action repeated daily compounds into identity. One habit enforced consistently becomes unstoppable discipline. This is the foundation of transformation. Think about it simply. Making your bed every morning, writing for 10 minutes, walking for 5 minutes. These are small. They feel insignificant. But repeated day after day, they create an unshakable baseline of discipline. They reinforce your ability to follow through. They teach your mind that your commands are non-negotiable. It's not about the size of the action, it's about the consistency of the action. It's not about doing everything at once, it's about doing one thing reliably. One standard, every day, no exceptions. Say it again. Say it until it becomes instinct, because this simple line will be the foundation of every habit, every decision, and every victory you achieve. Every time you follow through with your standard, you are training your mind. You are proving to yourself that you are capable. You are proving that your word is stronger than your feelings. You are proving that discipline is built, not wished for. This is where most people stumble. They underestimate the power of repetition. They ignore the compounding effect of small wins. They think the big changes will solve their problems, but big changes cannot be maintained without the foundation of small daily standards. Here's the truth.
Every great life, every successful career, every disciplined mind began with one small standard. One act that was repeated, reinforced, and respected without exception. The person who becomes unstoppable did not start by conquering the world. They started by conquering themselves in small, consistent ways. Your environment, your focus, your habits, all of them respond to standards. A standard is more than a rule. It is a commitment to yourself. It tells your mind, your body, and your life what is non-negotiable. It is the first domino in a chain that builds character, resilience, and mental strength. You don't need their permission. You don't need someone to approve your small actions. You don't need motivation. All you need is the decision to implement one non-negotiable act every day. Make it so clear that your mind cannot argue. Make it so obvious that your excuses cannot interfere. And then repeat it. Some days it will feel unnecessary. Some days it will feel easy. Some days it will feel impossible. Do it anyway. Consistency doesn't depend on feeling. It depends on decision. Discipline doesn't wait for conditions. It creates conditions. You reinforce your identity by repeating small, deliberate actions consistently. Remember this: one standard, every day, no exceptions. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it guide your actions. Let it train your mind. Let it build the person you are becoming. Every habit, every decision, every moment of willpower is easier once this foundation is established. Your mind stops negotiating. Your actions stop drifting. Your life begins to align with your goals. And when this one small daily standard becomes non-negotiable, it will carry you through bigger challenges, longer tasks, and more complex disciplines. This is the simple truth of transformation. Start small, start daily, start unbroken. Discipline does not begin with grand gestures. Discipline begins with one small standard repeated without exception. And once you master this, you've mastered the foundation of every habit, every victory, and every success you desire. You have taken control of your environment, your attention, and your actions. Now it's time to learn how to multiply your results silently, without relying on recognition, applause, or anyone else's approval. Next chapter: the discipline of silence.
Your mind is listening. Every word you speak to yourself, every thought you entertain, every repetition you practice. Most people underestimate this power. They think identity is shaped by circumstances, luck, or talent. But the truth is simpler and far more brutal. Your mind obeys what you repeat. If you repeat weakness, doubt, and fear, your mind will follow. If you repeat excuses, hesitation, and self-sabotage, your mind will obey. This is why most people live small lives, chasing comfort and avoiding effort, because they have trained their minds to obey weakness. You have a choice. You can continue repeating the narratives that keep you small, or you can begin repeating the thoughts that make you unstoppable. This is the key. Repetition is the language your mind understands. Your identity is built in the echoes of what you repeat. Your actions follow your mental commands. Think about professional athletes. They don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. They rehearse discipline, focus, and performance long before they step onto the field. They visualize execution, repeat positive self-talk, and affirm their standards. They repeat mastery until mastery becomes automatic. This is the secret most people ignore. You become what you rehearse. Your inner dialogue matters more than you realize. Every time you say, "I can't," you reinforce weakness. Every time you say, "I'll try later," you reinforce hesitation.
Every time you entertain excuses, you teach your mind to follow them. And the more you repeat, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. The pathway to failure is paved with repetition. The pathway to success is also paved with repetition. Your choice determines which one you follow. You don't need permission to repeat strength. You don't need validation to speak discipline to yourself. You don't need applause to rehearse consistency, courage, and focus. It is your mind, your repetition, your control. And this is the battlefield for identity. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about opportunity. It's about discipline, repeated consistently until it becomes automatic. It's about planting the seeds of mental strength in your mind, day after day, thought after thought. It's about saying to yourself, even when no one is watching, I am focused, I am consistent, I am disciplined, I follow through. Repeat it, not once, not twice, but enough that your mind cannot ignore it. Repeat until your thoughts demand action. Repeat until hesitation has no home in your mind. Repeat until your identity is inseparable from your discipline. Your actions will follow your mental patterns. Your habits will mirror your self-talk. Your life will echo what you have rehearsed in silence. This is not theory. This is science. This is the way all high performers, elite thinkers, and unstoppable individuals operate. You may feel resistance at first. Your mind may mock your attempts. You may feel awkward or unnatural. That is the test. The mind resists new pathways. The mind clings to the old patterns because it has obeyed them for years. But repetition breaks resistance. Repetition builds new pathways. Repetition rewires identity. Repeat discipline until discipline repeats itself. Say it now. Say it until it is ingrained. Say it until your mind no longer questions it. Because every repetition, no matter how small, is a deposit into your mental bank of strength. Every repetition becomes momentum. Every repetition becomes character. This is the point most people miss. They work on their bodies, their schedules, their environment, but they neglect the mind. They try to force change externally while repeating weakness internally. It will never work. Your internal repetition must align with your external action. Thoughts become habits. Habits become behavior. Behavior becomes identity. Every day you repeat discipline in thought, you strengthen it in action. Every day you repeat commitment, you reinforce follow-through. Every day you repeat strength, courage, and focus, you train your mind to obey what matters. And the more it obeys, the easier it is to execute, to act, and to win. Now you understand the unshakable truth. Your mind is a mirror of what you repeat. Your identity is forged in the fires of repetition. Your power is born in the consistency of your self-talk. You have mastered the foundation of mental discipline. Now it is time to apply it in silence, away from recognition, away from applause, away from external validation. Next chapter, the discipline of silence.
Attention is the currency of success. It is the resource that determines your results, your habits, and your future. And yet, most people treat it carelessly. They scatter it across endless distractions, noisy environments, and other people's priorities. Stop for a moment and think about your day. How many times have you allowed a notification, a random thought, or someone else's urgency to hijack your focus? How many hours are lost to scrolling, multitasking, and reacting instead of acting? This is not just wasted time. This is wasted life. The truth is simple. The person who controls their attention controls their life. And conversely, the person who lets attention be pulled in every direction is at the mercy of circumstance, other people, and chaos. Your focus determines your actions. Your actions determine your results. Your results determine your identity. You have a choice. Every moment of every day, you decide where your attention goes. And in that decision, you define your future. This is the key. Attention is not passive. It must be guarded. It must be claimed. It must be disciplined. Most people do not guard it. They react to urgency instead of acting on importance. They answer every call, reply to every message, check every alert. They let others' priorities dictate their day. And then they wonder why their results are mediocre. They wonder why they never feel in control. This is not luck. This is cause and effect. Your attention shapes your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your life. Ignore it, and your life will reflect the chaos you allow. Control it, and you become the architect of your destiny. The disciplined individual acts differently. They decide where attention goes before the noise begins. They allocate it to growth, mastery, and results. They prioritize their tasks according to long-term impact, not immediate urgency. They protect their mental space like a fortress. And because they control what they focus on, they control the direction of their life. This is not easy. The world is designed to steal your attention. Social media, emails, news, noise, they are all engineered to pull you away. Even well-meaning people can demand your focus, distracting you from your priorities. It is relentless, and that is why discipline is required. Guarding your attention is non-negotiable. You must train your mind to resist the pull of the trivial and embrace the critical. You don't need permission to protect your focus. You don't need approval to eliminate distractions. You don't need validation to prioritize your growth over someone else's drama. It is your life. Your future depends on where you place your attention. You are either directing it consciously or surrendering it unconsciously. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. It's not about avoiding all distractions perfectly. It's about making deliberate choices about what matters. It's about enforcing boundaries that allow your attention to serve your goals. It's about saying no to the urgent and yes to the important, repeatedly, daily, relentlessly. Every act of undisciplined attention compounds. Every scroll, every unnecessary meeting, every reactive conversation steals focus and steals momentum. Your mind begins to obey distraction instead of direction. Your habits begin to reflect the chaos of divided attention. Your results become inconsistent. Your life becomes reactive rather than intentional. Conversely, every act of controlled attention compounds positively. Every deliberate choice to focus builds momentum, clarity, and mastery. Every moment you refuse to react impulsively strengthens mental resilience. Every hour you direct toward high-value action reinforces identity and capability. This is how extraordinary individuals dominate their fields. This is how lives are transformed. Remember this line and repeat it constantly. Guard your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Repeat it until your mind instinctively protects your focus. Repeat it until distractions no longer pull you. Repeat it until your actions are aligned, your results are predictable, and your life reflects intentionality. This is not optional. It is not negotiable. It is the foundation of every achievement, every discipline, every victory. The person who controls attention does not wait for opportunity. They create it. The person who controls attention does not drift. They navigate deliberately.
The person who controls attention shapes reality itself. You have learned the truth. Focus is power. Control your attention and you control the trajectory of your life. Neglect it and you surrender to chaos.
Mental discipline is the foundation of an unshakable life. When your mind is trained, setbacks don't derail you. They don't break you. They don't pull you off your path. They simply redirect you back to the mission. This is what separates those who crumble from those who rise. This is what separates those who lose momentum from those who become unstoppable. Most people fall apart at the first sign of pressure. A harsh comment breaks their confidence. A small delay destroys their consistency. A single failure convinces them they were never capable to begin with. They treat obstacles as proof that they should quit. You are not most people. You have a choice, and this chapter is about choosing the mindset that makes you impossible to derail. Mental discipline means you stay loyal to your purpose even when circumstances don't cooperate. It means you act based on commitment, not emotion. It means you decide your identity before the world applies pressure. This is the key. Your mind must be stronger than your mood. Your discipline must be stronger than your doubts. Your mission must be stronger than your excuses. Look at people who achieve mastery in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, creators. They are not exempt from stress. They are not exempt from failure. They are not exempt from fear. The difference is simple. When life hits them, they don't collapse. They don't spiral into drama or panic. They become sharper. They become calmer. They become more focused, because their mind has been trained to stay on course. You don't need their permission to build that level of discipline. You don't need a perfect childhood, perfect circumstances, or perfect timing. You don't need approval from anyone. What you need is practice. What you need is repetition. What you need is the willingness to redirect your mind back to the mission every time it wanders, every time it doubts, every time it hesitates. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. It's about choosing your response instead of surrendering to impulse. It's about refusing to let temporary emotions dictate long-term direction. The undisciplined mind says, "I don't feel like it." The disciplined mind says, "Feelings don't decide my destiny." The undisciplined mind says, "This setback is too big." The disciplined mind says, "This setback is a checkpoint, not the end." The undisciplined mind gives excuses. The disciplined mind gives results. Every challenge you face is training. Every difficulty is a mental gym. You are being shaped by the pressure you resist. You are being forged by the adversity you survive. You are being strengthened by the burdens you carry without breaking. Mental discipline is not built in comfort. It's built in struggle, repetition, and refusal to quit. Think of a moment in your life when everything felt uncertain, when something unexpected knocked you off balance. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe a plan fell apart. And yet, you're still here. You survived what you thought would destroy you. You adapted when you had no choice but to adapt. That's mental discipline, if you choose to see it that way. You have already demonstrated strength. Now it's time to refine it intentionally. A disciplined mind stays on course. Say it again. A disciplined mind stays on course. Repeat it until your mind accepts it.
Repeat it until your behavior reflects it. Repeat it until your identity becomes aligned with relentless progress. Discipline doesn't make your life easier, it makes you stronger. Discipline doesn't remove obstacles, it makes you capable of overcoming them. Discipline doesn't prevent setbacks, it prevents setbacks from becoming excuses. A disciplined mind can be shaken, but never shattered. It can be slowed, but never stopped. It can be tested, but never defeated. When life becomes chaotic, your mind becomes your anchor. When emotions surge, your mind becomes your compass. When everything around you shifts, your mind becomes the one steady thing that keeps you aligned with your mission. This is the advantage few people ever build. This is the power that turns ordinary individuals into leaders. This is the mindset that makes you impossible to derail. You now understand what mental discipline truly means, and more importantly, you understand that it is a choice, a daily, consistent choice. You control your response. You control your focus. You control the direction of your life. No setback can take that from you unless you hand it over willingly. You have built strength. You have built clarity. You have built discipline. Now it's time to put it all together and step into the identity you've been shaping throughout this journey.
You now understand what most people never learn. Your greatest advantage is not talent, luck, or intelligence. Your greatest advantage is mental discipline, the ability to control your focus, command your actions, and remain unshaken by pressure or distraction. When you discipline your mind, you discipline your habits. When you discipline your habits, you discipline your life. Everything begins inside you. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every transformation. So starting today, refuse to be controlled by impulses, noise, or weakness. Train your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Take this hour and turn it into a lifetime of discipline. Start now, stay consistent, and do not stop.